Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football club.
Good morning, Cherries fans. It's here, it's match day, and it's the match day breakfast show. We're here till 10 o'clock this morning. My name is Sam Davis.
And I'm Morgan Scott.
Morgan, how you doing today?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Sam.
Good. Now, Bournemouth today entertained Blackburn Rovers. It's a match which has become significantly important based on a couple of factors. Firstly, our dip in form, not particularly great, but also if you twin that with the recent renaissance of Blackburn's season, with a great run which has taken them up into the playoffs from seemingly out of nowhere, I think it could well be a tasty one, this. Make no bones about it. It's going to be a tough game, but with Boscombe maybe rejuvenated after a galvanising draw at the league leaders last weekend, optimism is starting to creep back in, not least with the news that Jordan Zamora and Lloyd Kelly have got back into training again, which is excellent news. But then contrast that with some bad news for Adam Smith and then Lerma's news yesterday. Morgan, looking at the league table now, Fulham are on 44 points. We are just a point behind them. We're still somehow in contention and somehow quite clear of third, despite the fact that our form recently has been pretty shoddy. 1 win in 6.
Yeah, I think that speaks for itself. 1 win in 6, you say. That's not ideal, is it? But I think we took a point against Fulham. I came away from watching it happy with. It felt more like a win than a point. With the draw, I know it's obviously still a draw, but it felt like a win because it was a massive. At least we didn't lose the game, and I thought we were lucky to come out of that with a point. And yeah, it's just. But now it's an opportunity to bounce back. We haven't won, as you said, in 6, and today it's got to start again at some point. Every team has a blip throughout the season, but we're going into a few busy games in this festive period. And hopefully we can be back at the top of the table at 5 o'clock this evening, depending on what Fulham do.
Yeah, that's right. So Blackburn Rovers, they're in 4th place, as you saw. They won their last 3 games, scoring 6 goals, keeping a clean sheet. And after their 7-0 thrashing by Fulham that time at home, Rovers have actually won 4 and drawn 1 game. So that was the kickstart that they needed. As ever, you can take part today. Morgan, how do people take part? You can tell me, right?
I think so. You just go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. It's down there at the bottom of the screen, and I think the direct links in the YouTube chat as well, Sam. And just if you're on an iPad or a phone, just make sure you're like myself and Sam, we're in landscape, and just wear some earphones if you can, and just wait patiently, and I'm sure Sam will press the button and bring you into the studio.
I certainly will. Now, if you were an eagle-eyed viewer or even a listener, if you were listening to it last week, we were playing Fulham, and myself and Tom on the breakfast show at the end, we said that there have been a few song titles that have been put throughout the show because there was a link. Did you get the band? We're not doing it today, but here we go. Say it's a relatively big game for the Cherries today, mate.
Just a bit, mate. Yeah, I mean, normally living for the weekend, but Friday night feels a bit weird. But being Friday night, I really warm to it. I mean, it's going to take us a while to get over, losing Eddie like we did, the king. But listen, he's the other way, so I'm almost quite enjoying seeing us being a little bit more. We're hard to beat, which I quite like, and then. Look, and I think tonight, Aaron kind of mentioned it there. I think they'll kind of let us play, and I think it could suit us in the sense of
night out in Luton.
It's been moved to 12:30.
Oh God!
I'll tell you what, these away days are like, I need a permanent cash machine for away days.
How you boys doing? You all right?
But I like to think we tried it. Let's move on now. Let's go back to the 4. We haven't really got the options. I mean, we've got to go with this, assuming.
When you've got your own opinions, you can get tied up too tight in wondering whether it's going to be a back 5, whether it's going to be a back 4. But
listen, we spoke about enough. It's going to be a proper sweat tonight. It's going to be a really, really difficult game. I love an away day. Friday night. It's like a drug, isn't it? An away day on a Friday night in London. I can't wait, mate. So bring it on. And yeah, quietly confident now. I don't know why I've got quietly confident now.
So yeah, we put those song titles in, and the band was Hard-Fi, who I don't know if they've done anything in quite a while, but the reason we did them was because they're Fulham fans, and that's who we were playing. We tried to find some bands that supported Blackburn today, but absolutely no chance at all. So what's coming up then? We're going to talk about Scott Parker's presser. We'll be going through the opposition info, courtesy of Benjamin Bloom. We've got the pubs and predictions. So if you're an away fan and you're driving down, we've got an away fans guide just for you. Plus, we'll somehow go through our predicted team. And this one, I sense, could be a little bit tricky. But firstly, let's kick off with Parker's presser. Right, so this was on Thursday afternoon. Morgan, what was said? What's going on? Who's injured? Who's not?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I just woke up at 7 o'clock this morning to have a little check-up on what's going on. So the only one that Parker said was Adam Smith. He's got a bit of an issue after that game, and I think he came out on Instagram and said it's a recurring knee injury. Unfortunately for Smudge, he gets a lot of injuries, and it's such a shame because defensively he's a lot better than Jack Stacey in the right back position, and that's not to sound horrible. Jack Stacey much better going forward. Smudge is better defensively, as we know. So it's a shame, and to be honest with you, Sam, I think this is, considering that obviously Jordan Zamora's not quite ready just yet, and Leif Davies is a bit touch and go, Parker starts him or not, it's not looking that great in left back position either. Obviously, we'll talk about the chosen 11 later in the show.
Yeah, this is it. Now, this is our concern, and you know what? I'm still not sure what we do in terms of the lineup today, because Blackburn, they might be going 3 at the back. So does that mean we match them up like we did against Coventry? But then if we do that, who do we have on the left side? I think we're better when we play 4 at the back, but we're still not sure who the left back could be. Chris Mepham can go there. Not really great. Robbie Brady can perhaps fill in. Leif Davis, is he fit? It's yet to be seen. But mate, I mean, so obviously not great news, but it is good to see that certain players are back fit. We'll talk about not fit, training again. We'll talk about Kelly and Zamora shortly. But talk to me about this release from the FA yesterday afternoon, mate, because that was not music to my ears. Ugh.
Well, it wasn't great at all, to be honest. I was just getting on with the Friday and just cracking on with a few jobs around the house. And then, I saw Chris Temple tweet, and I thought, I've got to have a look at this. And he said, tweeted what the FA said about Jefferson Lerma. And it goes, but as you say on screen there, Jefferson Lerma has been fined $4,000 and suspended for AFC Bournemouth's next 2 games for breaching a rule. Now, to be honest with you, I think any player would be angry getting sent off in the manner that he did, like late on in the game and stuff. I'm not going to make excuses or whatever he said if he did say anything that he shouldn't have said out of context to the referee. But not being funny, Sam, Jeff doesn't really speak, is it fair to say, the best of English. So unless he spoke to David Coote, the referee in Colombian, I'm not sure really what went on there. I met Jeff in person several times, and I'm sure I know Tom has and several other people. And I could barely have a couple of sentence conversation. That was quite early on to his Bournemouth career, and this isn't meant to sound like funny at all, but no, it just seems a little bit weird how, and also, like, I don't want to say this out of turn, but do you think sometimes the referees target Jefferson Lerma to give him because of the type of player he is, give him another yellow, or be a little bit harsher on him, because obviously we had that incident last season where there was no evidence whatsoever and he got a 6-match ban. So it's quite frustrating.
It's really frustrating. And to talk about it, we're going to bring in Billy Day now, who's joining us, regular on an away day many a time. Billy, good morning.
Good morning, lads. How are we all doing?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. It's going to be a difficult game today. Blackburn in form, us arguably not in form, and still missing that key cog in midfield in Jefferson Lerma, eh?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what the FA have got against him, but this is the thing. There should be a new rule of where if a player gets sent off, he has the right to at least ask the referee what he's done wrong, and then if it's fair enough, just walk off the pitch. No, you don't argue against it. If you've been sent off, you have the right to appeal against it, and if you think the referee's got it wrong, then the referee changes if he gets it wrong. This is why we need VAR in the Championship. The Championship is just as high as the Premier League. They need to bring this in because they clearly, if the Premier League can get the view as well, surely give it to the Championship as well, because it's just as high intensity as it is as well.
A lot of people would argue against you, I think, because we've enjoyed watching the Championship without the game starting. But I can see what you're saying for certain decisions. I do certainly agree. I think maybe in the playoff games, that's when it could be adopted, considering the amount of money on that fixture. Because, the slightest of errors there could cost your club like 8 figures. So it's that's a contentious point. So I mean, what do we do in midfield today then, mate? Because it's going to be what, perhaps Ben Pearson coming in? Do you think
it would most likely be Ben Pearson, Lewis Cook maybe. I don't know. We've got Billy back yet, so who knows?
How are you feeling about the game as a whole, though? I mean, are you feeling a bit confident after that draw? Because, despite the fact it was a draw and it was backs to the walls, the game plan worked. We managed to hold the league leaders on their own turf. We made them look in the first half more ordinary than they have for most of the season. Does that maybe galvanise the side somewhat and give them a bit of confidence going into quite a tricky run of festive fixtures?
Optimistic today, sort of, because Blackburn they're a side where they're very unpredictable. They will push the big teams up hard, but then maybe against some of the smaller clubs, Luton, they don't do as well. So it's very unpredictable with Blackburn, because I think they're one of those sleeping giants. So who knows? We had a very good game at home against them last season to start the season off. So I'll take a point again, but we need to get out of this run of not winning games. What was it? 1 win in 6. That's not good enough, because even though we're second, it just goes to show how well we started.
Yeah, that's right. And, thank goodness for our good start, because if we didn't have that, I'm not too sure where we'd be. So, yeah, okay, go on then, Billy. Put a prediction on it. What are you thinking for today?
Oh, I've got back the boys 3-2. There'll be loads of goals.
3-2, you know what? And that's what people are saying. It's going to be a high-scoring game. So, and that's a repeat of last season's result, of course, when Dan Juma scored the winner. And that game had a lot of ebb and flow. People are predicting that there will be goals in this. So 3-2, mate. Looking forward to it. What's your fixture calendar for matches that you personally are attending looking like over the Christmas period? Are you going to any of them?
QPR away, Peterborough at home for my birthday, hopefully. Looking at Yeovil away for the Cup. Yeah. And then definitely Luton away.
Yeah, Luton away. 12:30 though, bit annoying, isn't it?
Bit easy for me. So it's quite, I'm not fussed. I'm not fussed. Luton away, that's simple.
Train straight out from Dagenham, you'll be absolutely fine. Billy, nice to see you, buddy.
Take care. Enjoy the game, guys.
Cheers, mate. 3-2. So, whilst we got the bad news of Jefferson Lerma and also Adam Smith, there was some good news, Morgan, to see a couple of people back on the training pitch. May not be ready for today, could be on the bench. We don't know. We know that Scott Parker likes to pull a surprise, especially after playing Cahill last week against Fulham. But we saw 2 star players back on the grass.
Mr. Samora and Mr. Lloyd Kelly were back on the field, and he says that they only been back out on the grass a couple of days. But nevertheless, it's great to see it's a start in the recovery. And I'm not overly sure what I think Lloyd's, is it a groin, Sam? It's been a bit, Lloyd's injury hasn't really been spoken about too much, obviously, with Jay-Z. I saw him outside the stadium about, I don't know, just over a month ago now, and he had a boot on, and he said that it was looking like he would be back I said to him, I said, when do you reckon you'll be back? And he said, probably you're looking at the new year because of the extent of the injury. Obviously, he had the boot on. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting what he does when we pick that final 11. But although we're running out of options in some ways, I think now we're getting enough people back. So hopefully we should just be able to cross over the line. But Lerma being out for another couple of games, bit of a shame. But we have to kind of get on with it. But it's quite frustrating because it's a key player, and I just don't get why. Billy made a good point there. You know, everyone gets angry in football, and everyone on the pitch says things out of context and things they might not say to a referee or whatever. I know it depends on what you say, and then that's overstepping the line. But you know, you should be able to go and ask, as another human being, to go and say to a referee, why have you sent me off? Could I have an explanation, please? And then at that point, then, okay, you have to kind of leave the field. Then, you know, he's told you why, then you've got to go. And then it's over to your captain and your management team to get you away, to not get you into any more trouble. I know as a human, you have to represent yourself, and you're a professional footballer, and you've got to have the contact on and off the pitch. But I like what Billy was saying there, because I think you should be able to have a conversation with a ref and just say, why have you sent me off?
Yeah, the transparency with refs. I mean, they should be. Each team should be able to ask a few questions after like every game and get an answer from a referee. But they go into their little dressing room, never to be seen again.
What I would like is eventually for it to be mic'd up like rugby. I would love to see what officials say to players.
Goodness, yeah, just imagine that.
Just to see, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it'd be really, really interesting to see what Lerma actually kind of said to David Coote, and then we can maybe look at it in a different way. But I still don't see any real problem, considering the very language barrier between Jefferson Lerma and the referee David Coote. But anyway,
David Coote. I mean, all I can assume, like I put on Twitter, is that maybe Jeff mispronounced his surname and the referee took offence. You don't know. Anyway, Morgan, that's good news about Jordan Zamora and Lloyd Kelly. Also, some good news. No. Can we talk about the fact that you've got a job, mate? You've got a job. When did this happen?
Yeah. Thanks for embarrassing me. I'm speechless. You like doing this to people, don't you, Sam?
Yeah, I do, mate. No, it's really good, mate. Because you know, someone like you who works hard, like an honest guy, does deserve a job somewhere. And obviously, we know about your autism and stuff. We got a video on it and all that kind of stuff. So it's not very easy for you, especially with the tremor. Certain things that you know maybe could hold you back, don't hold you back, and you managed to get a job, which is superb. We won't say whereabouts it is because we know the Morgan Scott fan club will be out in attendance. However, mate, cracking news. And also, what are these pictures that I've been seeing floating about on social media, mate? Who's this guy?
Oh no, thank you.
What is this? Explain this.
Yeah, so about probably a month and a half ago, it's been a busy few months, but I did a photo shoot. Oh, that one's not potentially the best, but anyway, I look a bit like forced into a smile there. No,
and there.
Yeah. Oh god. I think yeah. So I was just on AFC Bournemouth website, like I am most days, just finding out about stuff. Obviously for the pod and just in general for myself, tickets, whatever. And I saw this opportunity to be an ambassador for AFC Bournemouth, and I thought just to get represent the club that I love and I followed for my whole life. I just thought I would give it a go, and I did an interview on Zoom. I think it's about 25 minutes, and a few days later I heard back and I got it, and I got invited down to skate the ice rink in Bournemouth, and just got asked to model a couple of hoodies. I think I got had to do a hat and a nice little jacket as well, and
beautiful
45 minute photo shoot down in skate. Club photographer Amy was down there, and she did really well with the photos, and yeah, it's really good, and they're out on the club Superstore website if anyone wants to have a look.
Given the fact that you're about 9 foot tall, mate, she wouldn't have needed a wide lens. She'd have needed a tall lens or
Oh, she
stand
did say
about
it was a
10
bit of a
miles back to
pain.
get you in, Morgan, right, what we're going to do is speak to a certain someone that is up very, very late in his time zone. Somehow he's got a smile on his face, but I gather he's been watching the cricket, so I'm not sure how. All right, David, how you doing?
I'm all right. It's actually very early in the morning. It's 4:20, so I just couldn't
Oh
sleep
my
last night.
goodness, mate.
Yeah.
Did you watch the cricket?
I watched the cricket and then turned it off.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised.
It was not that great, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Just playing with the angles there. Firstly, I've got a couple of questions. Have you got your mug yet?
No, I haven't.
It's been posted. It's been posted. We'll have to check up to see what's going on with that because there are people in Thailand, in Australia, and in other places of the States that have told me that they've got there. So we may have to resend you one.
I don't. I have no idea what happened. I mean, the mail service over here is crap at the moment.
Right.
So, did you? If you sent it tracking, might be a good idea.
Yeah, I think next time we will. We sort of use the cheapest one that we can just to keep the profit there.
Right.
However, what
But you
we'll
know
do
what?
is
I'll pay. I can pay the extra.
no, honestly, no, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. We we want to make sure you get your mug. And we have got some kind of compensation on it anyway. So if it gets lost, which it obviously has, then we'll get that resent.
You watch, it's probably going to turn up tonight.
Yeah. Aaron Kay's asking you to give him a wave, David.
I am.
Love it. Right then. So yeah, let's talk about AFC Bournemouth then. On to brighter things rather than talk about the cricket. Look. When you look at the season as a whole, we've had a very good start. Is this just a blip?
When we were going so well, everybody was saying, "Oh, Scott Parker's wonderful. We've done a really good job. Isn't it wonderful?" And I was always saying, it's how we react after we had a blip, right? And the fact is, I think the Fulham result was a good result. We got a draw, and our backs were against the wall. We do need to get some victories going. We do need some points on the board. Blackburn's going to be a tough game, especially without Lerma. But hey, we're still second, and if you're second and you're not playing particularly well, or not getting the results, that's okay. It's the next month that's going to be critical though, because if we go into the Christmas period and we don't start getting some victories, that second may no longer be there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think about the sort of nature of the way that we've been playing so far? Because there have been a few matches where we've sort of had that freedom. Huddersfield at home was very good. Swansea at home, we won 4-0. But there have been a number of matches where we've just scraped over the line, and we sort of saw that, kind of game plan on Friday, whereby when we went 1-0 up, we made a substitution to take off Marcondes and bring on Pearson, which speaks for itself in terms of what you're going to do. And then we sit back. Do you think that's the right way to do it? Or do you think we should just be going like a bit more gung-ho?
I think you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I mean, if he had done the other way, right, and gone for it, and then Fulham had scored and won it, we would have been like, why didn't he put a defensive player on? So I do think that when you're 1-0 up against the team that's top, you are going to probably go into a more defensive posture. Whether that's the right thing to do, I don't know. But going back to, you were talking about Jefferson Lerma before. I agree with you. I mean, how the referee actually understood what he was saying, I have no idea, because I can't understand Jefferson Lerma's English. I don't think anybody can understand his English. So I think part of the problem with Lerma, though, is he's got a reputation. And so the refs we're going to stamp on that. We're not going to allow you to get away with it. And I think that's part of the problem. I think because of what's happened, his bookings in the past and his, and his fierce play, referees are kind of watching out for him. And I think that's a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for the game today then, David? What are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for 2-1. I think I think Dom will score again. And Billing. I'm going to go with Dom and Billing to win the game. It's going to be a tough one. Blackburn have got some good players. They've had some good results. But hopefully we'll win one for Nani. And I got to say that the love and affect shown for Nani at the funeral this week was just amazing. I mean, that's what the club is all about, right? I mean, this was a guy who bled AFC Bournemouth, and to see that reaction of the player, well, not so much the players, but the supporters in the club, I think is remarkable. So let's win it for Nani.
Exactly, and I was going to make note of that later on in the show, but I'm glad you did, because you know what? I can't wait to hear his voice. They put a video up for every game, so we can all do a Red Army, which I think is such a lovely touch. Whoever thought of that, superb. So
can I just say that they should keep that forever, not just for this season.
Agreed. And I think that could be the case. That could be. I mean, that would be so fitting for the guys. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but we need to keep up that decibel level throughout the whole game. And we had a really good start in terms of it sounding really loud, but it soon died off. And maybe that was indicative of how we were playing. I don't know, but
you know what it is also, I think, and I'll be honest with you, when I come to games, and obviously I haven't been able to come recently because of this thing called COVID.
Yeah.
I really think the away support is more fun than the home support. And when you're away, everybody's singing, everybody's getting behind them. And then when you come to the home games, I don't know what it is. It reminds me years ago in the 70s, I used to sit in the main stand, and there were two old guys, and they reminded me of the, from the Muppet Show, the guys they just used to criticize everything. Now in those days, there was a reason to criticize everything. We were playing under John Benson, and people who criticize anything we're seeing today never saw a John Benson managed game. But it's like that's the kind of attitude that's, I think, still there sometimes. When you go to home games, people are just on their backs, and you shouldn't be on the backs. Get behind them, shout, support, get the decibel noise out. That it really makes a difference. And Eddie Howe said it this week for Newcastle, right? That it made such a huge difference for the Newcastle fans when they were cheering them last week. So we need to kind of make AFC Bournemouth home games a fortress and not like a graveyard.
Yeah, agreed. David, thank you so much for coming on.
Let's go.
I'll investigate your mug this weekend, mate. No problem.
And then next week I can then call in and I can actually have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, love it. Nice one, David. Thanks very much.
Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Take care. See you later on. Nice to see him there. Now, we'll do a quick hello to people on chat, and then Morgan, you can introduce someone. Look, you don't know who it is, but I know who it is. But he's a person that brings a lot of energy to the show. I bet you can guess who it is. If you get this wrong, this would be really embarrassing. So anyway, let's just see who's here. It's so early, says Rob. Good morning. How are you doing? Hope you're all right. Chris Hubble. Hello, mate. We got Liam Humby here as well. Heather's here. Looking forward to seeing you later, Heather. Robert Thompson. He's on the other side of the world. Good morning, all. Mike Owen across the pond. Good morning, y'all. Good luck to us today. Yeah, we've got Aaron Kay, who's heading down soon. Kane is here as well. We've got Scott here. Gareth. We've talked about Jeff, of course. These are older messages, but we'll get up to date. I'm absolutely certain. Duncan Spokes is here. Good morning, Sam and Morgan. Massive game today. Yeah, we're ahead of you, Ben, a.k.a. Cockbeard. Hello. Yeah, we're dressed. You better get dressed for later on, mate. Good morning to John Spark as well. Also, who else have we got? Oh, loads of regulars. Ivan's here as well. David Whitehead as well. Craig Ballard is saying time for a Cherries masterclass. That's what we all want to see today, Morgan, isn't it? Also, who else have we got? Rob Wells. Morgan for PM. You'd probably do a better job, wouldn't you, Morgan?
Well, in terms of being black and white about things and just saying it how it is, then maybe. But maybe we talk about politics another day. Hey, Sam, this is a football show.
There's no grey areas with you, is there? Lucy Clare's here. Great show as always today. Good morning, Lucy. Pete East as well, and also many, many more as well. We will get through them shortly. Right then, Morgan. Let's just do a bit of kind of psychicness.
Shall I have a sip of my drink first? Because it might get.
Go on. Ooh, here we go. Right. Who are we bringing on?
Right, so it's coming to the ear. And I think we got someone like Marky Masters into the room.
No, it's Daniel from Florida. Daniel, we'll speak to you in a minute. You're right. It is Marky Masters. It's Marky. Hello, mate.
Boys,
You're right.
I've got a magic trick for you.
Oh my goodness, here we go. It doesn't
Right,
involve...
here, so bright and early in the morning,
Yeah.
I've got a magic flying tea towel trick. You ready? So we got this. See, we got this. We got this, boys. Everyone watching at home. Right, here we go.
Yeah, go on.
If I can ask you, Morgan, if you can say the magic words Carl Broadhurst, I'll make this fly. 1, 2, 3, Morgan. Say Carl Broadhurst.
He said it.
What's going on? What's going on with this? Morning, everyone.
I was about to say, does it involve a coat hanger and a tea towel? I was about to say that. Is there not? Well, that is just magic, is it?
Why you got to why do you have to ruin this?
I'm not ruining it. I'm just because I always want to understand how things work. I'm just going to assume it's magic, Marky. It's got to be just magic.
Wait till you see me magic hand trick. It's a little bit like David Blaine when the little man reveals how it's done. That's what we do. We come to this show for answers, and that's what we get. And well done with your honesty of ruining what happens beyond the magician's curtain there, Sam.
Love it. It's always nice to see Marky first thing on a Saturday morning, isn't it, Morgan?
Absolutely, Marky. It's great to have your energy and your face and just everything about you on back of the net on a Saturday morning. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Bless you, Morgan, and well done on being the male model that you are as well.
Thank you,
Marky. I want to talk Christmas with you just briefly before Morgan asks you a question. Have you done your Christmas shopping? I know you got kids to sort, the wife to sort, family to sort, friends to sort. If you're going to put a percentage on it in terms of how far you're done, how far are you done?
30%, boys! 30%! We've got the Tesco's garage ready for New Year's Eve, the day before that. We got the stuff that's lined up. Everyone listen, I'm sure and even if it gets late, my wife might even like charcoal briquettes from the SO garage. Who knows? Hey? Who knows? Hey, here's one thing that's been doing my head in this week.
Yeah.
The Jefferson Lerma thing. And it makes me ask this question. Is Jefferson Lerma, do we consider him as a hard man? Do you consider him as Jefferson Lerma as a hard man?
Morgan?
I think in the terms of the fact that he's got a lot of fight and determination, and he does sometimes get himself into situations that maybe you could try and work out and try and avoid. But I think for me, you need someone like that in the midfield, especially in the Championship, in big challenges, and to try and he wins more headers than Phil Bill sometimes, and I think he's really key to our midfield. But yeah, in terms of your question, I think he is quite hard, yes, in a way. Yeah, Sam?
Yeah, look at that comment. Marky's wife's a very tolerant woman. That's the comment we've had, Marky.
But Robert's also a very true man as well. There's another man that lays it on the line, speaks the truth on a Saturday morning. What a great time to have a morning vlog.
No, he's a sweetheart, says Heather. And Ivan said, Marky has woken me up. Right, about Jefferson Lerma. I think the way he plays dictates that he's a hard man, but I don't think he gives it all that. Well, I didn't think he did. But like the referees seem to think he does. I mean, things with the bite gate, it's still very unsubstantiated. It seems to be, one word for another. This one here, I'd love to see the evidence. I don't think we will probably ever see it. But, I don't think he is, because he doesn't carry that persona off the pitch as well. Because honestly, and I've said this before, like ages ago, when you see hard men like Roy Keane or people in that mold. Yeah. Like if he sees a fan outside a game, he'll take a selfie, but he doesn't smile. Whereas like Jefferson Lerma looks proud to be in the photo with the AFC Bournemouth fan that he's standing with. I mean, like you've got a photo with him, Tom, haven't you? Morgan, haven't you?
Oh, I wish I was Tom, because I would have more popular, I would just get recognised more often. No, I'm joking. But in terms of the photo with Lerma, no, he was brilliant. They were actually training at the stadium that day. And all the others would stand over the barrier. It wasn't even COVID time, so I don't know why. But Jefferson Lerma made the effort. He came all the way around the gate, which was a 20-second walk. He saw me there, and he saw that I wouldn't have been able to take the photo myself very well. And he said, basically, he was like, "Mate, can I have your phone? Can I take a photo?" And he took the best selfie that I think I've ever seen. And he's such a nice, down-to-earth person. And he stood there and gave us a fist pump and just kind of spoke to me. Obviously, it wasn't the best of conversations because he was quite new still, and my English is a little bit better than his. The language barrier. I can't speak Colombian. He can't speak English overly well, so it was a bit tricky. But no, he's a really down-to-earth person. I think Sam summed that up pretty well. I think on the field he's a bit more of a hard man, but off the field, I think he's just a nice, down-to-earth person.
But hark back to the World Cup of whenever it was when England played Colombia. Was it the last one? I can't remember where we're at now. No, yeah, the last one, and we played them in the second round. Wasn't when we had him on penalties? Wasn't he like digging up the penalty spot or something like that?
They were described as who was it when English? Who was when England team was describing Colombia as one of the teams that they've ever played against. But then we didn't know then, did we? That was just before he played the game, didn't he? But he hadn't signed for us for that huge amount. But yeah, from reading stuff and and all the stuff you're saying there and kicking the turf and everything else, I don't know. It just makes me ask that question of when you say that is he all the flack that the poor blokes get in. He seems to be vilified generally does seem to be vilified via the FA. He does seem to be a bit of a marked man. Will that hold him against him in his, however long he stays in the UK? It's just interesting. I just don't see him as a hard man. He's just that lovely word we've all discovered in the past 12 months or the 12 months or so. That is the word house, and I love that word.
Yeah,
and long may we have those players in our team.
Love it. And yeah, here's a part of the video where we did the birthday messages, right? And like, this is how good his English is. I think hopefully I've got this queued up to the right bit. You may see a flash of Sean Barker of podcast fame. He come up originally, but this is him wishing me happy birthday. And listen to how good his English actually is.
Hi, son. I am Jefferson Lerma. Happy birthday. The best wishes.
Okay, so
it's nice.
It's lovely, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's brilliant. So apparently he's supposed to have said something or done something for the referee to take offence. Apparently, as Heather says, the report comes out in the next few days, but apparently it's a specific word that he used.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see.
We'll wait and see.
You know what I'm more interested in though, Marky? I'm interested in whether you know the score for today, because we know you like to go to different eras. You're back in the next version of Quantum Leap, aren't you?
I'm all over the place at the minute, though. I thought I was going to all over the place for decades at the minute, but I've got it back on track today, boys.
Yeah, go on. What have we got with your flying tea towel?
It's talking to me, boys. It's talking to me. So we saw the game. We did it. It's 2-0 today, boys. It was 2-0. Come on.
2-0. Marky, thank you very much and have a beautiful day, my friend.
Have a good day, everybody.
Love it. Up the cherries. Love it. Morgan, we love that energy, don't we, eh?
I love Marky Masters' energy, especially on a Saturday morning when I'm still half asleep. So, but maybe Marky you just put the video on screen there with Jefferson Lerma. Have we got someone waiting backstage who actually spoke to Jefferson Lerma?
We have, and we're going to do it as part of our opposition sequence because I think we spoke on Parker's presser a little bit too much, haven't we? Let's do it. So the manager of Blackburn Rovers is Tony Mowbray. He's in his 5th full season as their manager, having taken the job in February 2017. Now, last season, after 21 games, the exact position we're in now, his side were in 11th place on 29 points. So 7 points and 7 places lower than this season under the same number of games. Last season, they finished 15th, but it looks like they've got designs on something a bit more this season. Do you remember last time we played them at Dean Court? Yeah, Jack Stacey was the first goal scorer, scored that wonder goal from outside the box in the 25th minute. They equalised through Bradley Johnson. I think Jefferson Lerma then put us 2-1 up, so he had a crucial part to play in the fixture before Adam Armstrong equalised. But a certain Dan Juma, who's ripping it up in the Champions League, made it a 3-2 win. In all our home games against Blackburn, Bournemouth have won 4, drawn 3, lost 3. So it's all shaping up to be quite nicely. And a certain person that spoke to him previously is Daniel from Florida. Good morning, Daniel. You all right?
Yeah, you guys?
Very good. Jefferson Lerma's not that kind of player, is he? Because I mean, you've chatted to him and he was all right. He would be. You chat to Daniel. How can you be impolite to Daniel? But he's a really nice guy. Tell us what your thoughts on Jefferson Lerma are, Daniel.
To me, it was kind of weird because honestly, he was very nice. Like when we were speaking the whole time, all smiles, literally all smiles. I think what happened was, obviously, because I think Jefferson Lerma did get mad in the game, but his English made him sound like he said that, but I don't think he did. Or he said something in Spanish that the ref thought it was bad.
I'd love to know how they can prove it. I don't know if the refs have got some kind of. I know they've got mics that link up to the linesmen or assistant referees, if you want to call them that. I know they do in the Premier League. I think they do in the Championship as well. I just wonder if those are recorded, and if so, maybe those will get picked up. But given the fact that, for instance, on that birthday message, I'm sort of, in the context of the message, you sort of know what he's saying, so you sort of choose to hear what you want to hear. And I think it was best wishes, obviously Jefferson Lerma. So you could sort of sit, and I just wonder if the referee was like finding a way to hear what he wanted to hear. But in terms of today's game, Daniel, it's going to be a tricky one against a team in form, right?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that we can do something, because honestly, I can't be bothered with. We score a goal at halftime, then we go straight to defending. Honestly, to me, that's just boring to watch. So I think if we score and just do the Eddie Howe way and just keep on going, and we can possibly win this like a lot.
Do you feel as though sometimes in certain games we almost don't trust in our own attacking quality? Because at Blackpool, it was a similar story. We were 2-0 up at half-time. Dom should have made it 3-0. We rounded the keeper. Well, tried to round the keeper and didn't. And then we sort of tried to control the game. But by controlling the game, that basically means sort of passing for passing's sake. Lots of possession, but not really doing much with it. And when Blackpool got a chance, they scored. And then that gives them the impetus. Then they scored again. And we've seen a few matches where it could have gone that way this season, and it hasn't. So in some ways, the sort of points tally that we've got is a little bit fortuitous, I think. However, you'd just like to see us go and score, more goals. Why do you think Parker likes to play that way, Daniel?
I think there's 2 reasons. Because I think Parker is kind of afraid if we when we score and we keep on going and then we end up losing it. So he doesn't want that to happen. So I guess that's why he wants to defend. Or it's just, he just likes it. But I think it's the first reason. He's just worried we score a goal and then the opposition just scores at us when we're still attacking.
Yeah. And by the way, what time is it where you are in the world, Daniel?
4:44.
Unbelievable. Daniel, so you've woke up at that time, earlier, to come on the breakfast show. Are you going to go back to sleep after this?
No.
What? Are you just going to are you just going to carry on?
Yeah, because this is the time that I usually look at the AFC Bournemouth Twitter, because they start posting stuff.
Mate, you're a machine. You're a robot. I don't know how you're doing it. Are you going to be watching the game today on AFCB TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair play, mate. Okay. What's your prediction for today?
I think we will score 2, but then like last minute they will score 1, so 2-1 Bournemouth.
2-1 to Bournemouth. Superb. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on, mate. And nice to see you, buddy. Up the cherries, mate. Up the cherries. We've got Alec and John standing by. So we've had our view. We're going to have your predictions coming in very, very shortly. But it's always nice to get to the views of Benjamin Bloom, someone who's neutral and covers the Championship very well. We want to know what his opinion is. Who's going to win this one, is what he says.
Bournemouth versus Blackburn. This is an interesting one that you don't need your joker to call in either direction. Bournemouth obviously have been very good all season, haven't they? They're above 2 points per game and 6 points clear of third place, sitting in the top 2. However, Blackburn are top of the 8-game form chart. Blackburn are very good at the moment, aren't they? And they're up to 4th in the division. The 3-game win streak can only be matched by Sheffield United at the moment. So could we get one of those interesting matchups where you get a team playing at home that's acknowledged Bournemouth as, one of the best in the division, but a team visiting in form? Will it make any difference? Let's have a look at the numbers. So Bournemouth in the table only by 2, though. In the form table, Blackburn by 7. Homes and aways goes with Bournemouth by 6. They're the 5th best home team. We may well expect goals in this one. Bournemouth and Blackburn are both in the top 6 for goals scored. Bournemouth are also, well, let me phrase it this way. Nobody has conceded fewer goals than Bournemouth. So good side defensively. In the XG, it's Bournemouth by 6. And we're going to get a Bournemouth bounce back. They've gone one more game than Fulham, actually, without a win, with that defeat in there ahead of the 3 draws. So points per game wise, it was defeated Derby, wasn't it? Points per game wise, not in good form for the last 4 games, Bournemouth, but they got out of dodge with a point from Craven Cottage, didn't they? What am I going to go for? I think I'm going to go home. As much as Blackburn are in good form, I think Bournemouth and, the parachute teams, when they're functioning well, do think Bournemouth are a level above. And I think they're going to snap back into gear on this one. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 to Bournemouth.
That's what we like to see. 2-0 to Bournemouth. And that's what Alec likes to see as well. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm good, thanks, yep.
Are you at the game today, by the way?
No, I was going to go, but some last-minute plans.
Okay, that's just as well, because I posted your brand new unbroken mug. So you should get it early next week, mate, all right? I'll post it to the same address. Hope that's okay. How are you feeling about today?
I mean, a bit nervous, obviously, because of Lerma. I mean, he is a key player for us, but I feel like we can easily win this. I feel like we're going to go for a free.
Ooh,
yeah,
love it.
I feel like we're going to go for a free back and almost do what we done at Coventry, and just pass the ball around for 45 minutes and then shoot off. It just doesn't really seem like. It seems like a game we can easily win, right? Because we will find the flaws in their back 4, back 3. I think they play. We will easily find their flaws, but then we just won't attack at them. We'll just stay back and have possession.
Well, some bold statements there. Firstly, easily. Wow, fair play. You know what? I don't know what it's going to do, and we'll bring in someone in the last part of the show who can help pick our team, and also he'll be able to explain to me whether we should go 4 at the back, 3 at the back. Is matching up always the right thing to do? Because that's what he did against Coventry. And I thought we laboured our way through that first half. We did sort of keep their chances to a minimum. And let's face it, we took the lead with a cross that went in. But after that goal, we started to turn on a little bit. But I've just got a funny feeling that Scott Parker's going to maybe look at that and think, well, for 60 minutes or 65 minutes until Lerma was sent off, playing 3 at the back worked really well. So if they go 3 at the back, then maybe we will. But then, that probably means that we've got our defensive three sorted, because then Steve Cook, I'm not sure how you can leave him out. But if it's four at the back, that's a really interesting one, especially if someone like Lloyd Kelly's fit. Will he be? Probably won't be, which maybe means it'll be Cook and Cahill again. But I'm really intrigued to see what John Spark also thinks about the left side as well. So we'll find out about that. But all right then, what's your prediction for this one going to be then, Alec?
I feel like it's going to be a 2-1. I feel like it's going to be a lot like Coventry, but we'll score and then they'll equalise and we'll just get a last minute winner and just park the bus for about 5 minutes.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I appreciate it was short, and John Smithers Marky has been on already, so you might need to rewind. Alec, what's your festive fixture schedule looking like? Which one are you going to next?
Next, it might be QPR.
Okay.
I think it's QPR. Let me quickly check.
Well, if it is, we'll be there on the 27th, and then after that, there's we've got one at who have we got on the
Cardiff,
30th? Morgan? Cardiff, that's it. And then we got Peterborough on the 3rd at about
January 7:45.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Morgan, blimey. I love the fact that you got it so quick. Alec, well, you know what, mate? I hope it is an easy win today, like you say. Thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. And no doubt, probably see you at QPR.
Yep, see you at QPR.
Nice one. Thank you. Get your predictions in. We'd love to know what you think. This is what the stats are tending to suggest. I mean, a lot of them are going for a home win for this one. Their away form, Blackburn, hasn't been particularly great. But as I said earlier, after that 7-0 drubbing by Fulham at home, they haven't lost, and they've won 4 of their last 5. So and they drew the other one. So to be fair, a decent side at the moment, but you can see what effect that Fulham game might have had on the Cherries, because I do feel as though it's galvanised us somewhat. Okay, then let's get your predictions in. Then make sure you put them in chat. I was watching back the last show, and someone put 1-1 Cherries. I don't know who that was. Anyway, Morgan's going to go through them very shortly. Come on. Prediction time, Morgan. We always love that. And look, it's called Pubs and Predictions. If you're a Blackburn fan and you're listening to this on your way down, you're going to be on the road already. Check out our Away Fans Guide. If you go to our Twitter, which is twitter.com/AFCB podcast, one of our about third tweet down, we've got an Away Fans Guide for you, which can show you whereabouts to drink before the game, whereabouts you can go. And it's also worth knowing that the Bournemouth Alpine Bar / Market is up. So if you fancy a few cheeky mulled wines, you can do that. And there are bus routes that go through Holderness Road towards the stadium as well. So why not do that? But Morgan, before we get everyone else's prediction, what's yours?
I was thinking about my 3 o'clock bus up to Middlesbrough next week, but I don't know why I'm thinking about that just yet. But you caught me off guard. I'm gonna go. I'll just say 1-0. I'll just go 1-0 Bournemouth. Scrappy Solanke at the end. Don't care how it goes in, as long as we get 3 points and it goes in the back of the net. I don't care.
Brilliant. What's everyone else saying then, Morgan?
Ivan's here with 2-1 to AFC Bournemouth. Robert, 2-1, go Cherries. 2-1 says Cameron. 2-0 says KJ. Got 2-1 written all over it. We don't have to lose. We didn't lose 7-0 to Fulham though. 3-1 says David Whitehead. 2-1 says Daniel. Neil Whedon's here. 2-1. John says 2-1 to the Cherry. Chris Hubble's going, let's win 3-2. 2-1 to... I can't see that from my screen. Is that?
That's Alan.
Alan. Rob says 3-0.
Who else have we got?
Scott's here. He goes 3-1 to the Cherries. Heather 4-2. Billin Dom 2. I can't see what that said. 2-2. Darren.
We're going through them at a rapid pace. We got 2-1 with Jaden Anthony scoring 1. What else we got, Morgan?
2-0 says Martin. 3-1 says Pete. 1-0 he thinks says Rack. 2-1 says Liam Humby.
And there we are. Those are the predictions. That's what everyone says. Interesting. Okay. Well, you know what? You've gone for a 1-0. I'm going to go for a 3-1 today, mate. I've got a feeling that Bournemouth will snap back into form. I don't know. I've got a funny feeling about it. But obviously, a lot of us are wondering what on earth we're going to do with this lineup today. So I've got a feeling that there's only one person we can bring in to help us talk about it. And that's Mr. John Spark. Let's do our predicted teams. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's funny how this is becoming my regular spot, seemingly, on the morning show. I didn't expect that, but yeah, lovely. Thanks for having me again. How are you doing?
Right. Yeah, good. I'm gonna let people into a little secret. When Alec was saying a few things, I could see your face and you were like shaking your head at a couple of things that he was saying. So it's fair to say you disagreed with a few of his points. Is that right?
I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I just feel as though saying easy when we're playing fourth on the table is maybe just, we don't want this to turn into another teams like Luton style thing. Where we dismiss other teams despite, them being very, very good sides. Particularly when look at the form table, as Benjamin Bloom quite rightly pointed out, Blackburn are top of the form table over the last 8 games. So, they are, they're on a really good run of things at the moment, and we haven't won a game in 5. So this is a game that, as you can see by the predictions, we're all expecting us to do well in, but it's certainly not that easy.
No. So in terms of formation, like, how do we go with this? Is this a 3 at the back match again, or do you think he'll adopt the 4 at the back approach like he did at Fulham?
It's going to be really tricky to predict this one. Because
really?
I think the back 3, I think there's an interesting sort of there's almost like a natural allergic reaction of the Bournemouth fans to a back 3 after Tyndall's reign, as I think that just how poor that was at times. But against Coventry, I think it really worked. I think it wasn't the greatest looking football, but we completely nullified them until Lerma got sent off. Coventry did have the odd counter-attack, but they didn't really do very much, and their attack down the wings was entirely nullified by our wing-backs staying so high that theirs had to defend quite deep and weren't part of the counters. I'm not sure whether he'll necessarily pick the same plan against Blackburn, though, and that's because we should have Pearson back. What was one of the main issues? We didn't have Ben Pearson available in that game. And that prevents him from really using that 4-3-3, I think, in the way that he would like to when sort of shoring up that defence, as much as Kilkenny does a good job as a passer. I have a feeling he'll go back to the 4-3-3. And considering we're playing against a very good attacking side that has probably playing a back 3, so they'll have wing backs, obviously, but they'll obviously pack the middle. You probably want Pearson in there to help shore things up. They have they're a very strong attacking team. And as much as they have one main danger man up front, obviously, they need to get the ball to him first, and Pearson is vital in helping stop that.
So let's assume then we're going 4 at the back, and let's just assume that the spots that we know will be as we think. So we're talking Travers and also Jack Stacey in at right back as well. Probably Gary Cahill playing number 3. John, would you say?
I don't see any reason to change it with a pretty decent performance between that back 2 against Fulham.
But then, right, here comes the thing, right? If Lloyd Kelly is fit, wouldn't that be the biggest kick in the teeth ever to someone that had the game of their life against Fulham in Steve Cook?
I think that might be doing disservice to Steve Cook. I think he's had tons of games that have been as good as his performance was against Fulham. I think it's just purely the fact that he made that, world-class double save with his chest that sort of colours you to believe it was out of this world performance. I think it was just an incredibly good Steve Cook level performance. He's done that countless times for us in the Prem, and was winning all the balls over the top. I think, yes, it would be a kick in the teeth if Steve Cook was dropped for Kelly. But I don't think he's fit yet. And I think that when you're playing a side where you have such a dangerous attacker like Brereton Diaz, you don't really want to be risking a player that might not be fully fit. Someone in Kelly who is absolutely vital to get back as soon as possible. You might want him there possibly to deal with balls over the top and his recovery pace, but if he's not fit, then he's probably just going to pull a hamstring or whatever with making one of those runs. So I would imagine we'll be sticking with the Cook-Cahill partnership.
Okay, now this left side is very interesting because obviously Adam Smith would have been there last time round. Leif Davis wasn't in the squad last time. Robbie Brady's back. Talk to me about this left back position, John, because I'm confused.
Well, I mean, I was going to ask Morgan actually because I don't remember hearing news that Davis was injured. I don't know whether you have, Morgan.
No, not that I'm fully aware. He's posted a few things on his Instagram story throughout the week. I think he was in Manchester or something, but I don't think that's too much to look into. Like, the club haven't announced anything, so I assume he's just either not performing in training or got other plans at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I mean, in the last game, I think based on Davis's defensive performances since he started in the side, if Adam Smith can play, I would play him above Davis at left back. But now that he's injured, unfortunately, again, I think it's just Davis slots in. I would be surprised if he put Brady at left back. Not that he couldn't, but I just expect Leif Davis to go back in there.
What about Chris Mepham? Because he has played there before, but we saw that there was quite an imbalance in that match that he did play.
Yeah, I think particularly if you're playing against a wing back system, it's useful to have someone that's more defensively minded. But yeah, I think it just completely nullifies us going forward. It just creates such an imbalance in attacking down that left hand side, particularly when you've got a player like Jadon Anthony who can work really well with his partner on that left side. It just limits him completely when he doesn't have a player providing overlaps or underlaps from left back. So I'd much rather have Davis in there. As much as I think Mepham can be hard done by to not be in the starting 11 at all based on how he's done this year. I think he's just not got a place at the moment.
Let's say Kelly was fit, and Leif Davis is not still available for some reason. Would there be any way that he would maybe keep the partnership in central defence as it is on screen there, and then put Lloyd Kelly left back, or are we thinking that his days at left back are numbered?
I think long term, yes, without a doubt. He's very much seen as the left centre back now, and you can see by the way that our attacking play builds up through the back earlier on in the season, how we've not really done that over the last month, how important Lloyd Kelly is at left centre-back. I mean, Jacob Tanswell, as usual with his fantastic work, put in a fantastic article about Lloyd Kelly's importance as a ball progressor from centre-back, being one of the top two in the league in terms of passing and dribbling out from the back as a centre-back. So, yeah, it's if we can, then we'd play him at left centre-back. But in the situation you're saying, I could see him being put at left-back as a short-term option if Parker felt as though that was something that he'd want from Kelly. But with Davis, with Zamora probably coming back in a similar sort of time scale as Kelly, I would hope that we don't need to worry about that too much.
Okay, so Morgan, we're going to chat about the three in a minute. But firstly, I just want to ask John first before I come to you, Morgan. In terms of that three, would it be set up like that, or do you think the double pivot will be happening? Because obviously Pearson will probably be one of them. I mean, it all depends on the personnel, I suppose. So what would you be doing, actually, firstly, John? Which personnel would you be having for your 6, 7, 8 there?
Personnel. So again, Pearson in the number 6, as I said before. I think that's the first name in that position. And then, as much as I feel as though he's dropped off a bit in his performances, I would still have Billing in player 7. Would just like to see him get himself get a bit more influence in the game. I think he's still doing a lot of hard work. I think that still goes very much easily unseen, but just his impact attacking wise on games. Obviously, he got the assist against Fulham, but that was a planned move. So, just like in open play, I'd like to see a bit more from Billing. And then in the 8 position, probably Lewis Cook. I think it's been nice to see Marcondes again. I like it when he's in the squad. I like it when he's involved, when he can be, and certainly playing in that sort of diamond midfield. There was an extra spot for him against Fulham. But when the team's fully fit, he's not. Unfortunately, he's just not one of the starting 11 as things go. So
yeah,
Ryan Christie playing on the touchline there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's the three that I would pick. I'd be interested to see what comments come through as to if there's any difference people would pick for that. But considering especially that Lerma's not fit,
Morgan,
or not fit, he's not available.
Yeah, agreed. Morgan, what are your thoughts on that midfield three? Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, I think I think that's pretty cool. To be fair, obviously Jeff ain't about, so yeah, that's fine. It's not what I personally would pick. If obviously it's not the first team choice in the midfield, but it will do. And Pearson and Muff bring that in the holding role. Lewis Cook, it'd be interesting how he does as an 8, and then Billing. You can't Billing on the left with Jaden Anthony. It's just a good chemistry. So yeah, no, it's okay. It's not by any means the best stretch of the imagination, but it will do for today.
Yeah, the only other thing, Christie could come inside, and then you've got someone like Lowe on the right, or Marcondes could fill that role as well. But then Billing and Marcondes, I mean, obviously that happened against Fulham, but I don't know. Morgan, talk us through the other spots. I think it probably goes without saying.
It's 3 words: Solanke, Christie. Yeah. Well, 3 names: Solanke, Christie, and Jaden Anthony. Christie, he's just brilliant. He's quite aggressive, and he just gives everything. He wins the ball back so well. Jaden Anthony speaks for himself, and then Dom Solanke, what great form he's in. He's so confident, and his work, it's not just his goals. He works so hard for the team, and it's just nice after all the criticism, and I was a massive criticism of Dom Solanke, and it's just really nice to say, well, I proved you wrong, and he's delivered. He's been well class. Well, maybe I'm getting a little bit. He's not quite Gavin in the Esther. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, I think he's really stepped up, and I still think though in January, Sam, we still need 2 more players, and I think we do need a backup for Solanke, because I don't want to be too bad, but if he gets an injury, we're gonna struggle. And I don't think Lowe's going to be that player that gets as many goals as Solanke. So I think in January we do need a backup for him. But everything is going very well at the moment for Dom Solanke.
Is this going to be the game where Ryan Christie finally bloody scores, Morgan? Is it?
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
Bit bored of waiting for it, but I'm sure he can put a smile on our face later today, hopefully by 5 p.m.
Right then, John, what are you going for today?
A lot of people have gone for this one, but I do think 2-1 is a pretty decent shout for this game. I think when you look your little stat sheet that you put up before, you see that both teams to score stats is that both teams 7 out of 10 games they play, both teams score. That's pretty darn high for both teams. So I'm certainly expecting a goal at both ends, as much as I'm confident that Bournemouth's defence can hold them out well enough. I mean, we stopped Nitro scoring against Fulham, so you never know. We might end up see Dominic Solanke in the battle of the strikers winning out again this time round.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that again. I think his goal was just, obviously the set piece itself was absolutely mind blowing, but I think his touch, just to edge it out away from Odoi for that, and then slot it into the top of the net, was just an outstanding finish. And if he's maintain that kind of form, then that'd be brilliant. But Brereton Diaz has scored 5 in the last 5, so he's doing pretty well for himself as well. So this will be really interesting in that battle. And unlike I think we're a little bit better in terms of, like, if Solanke doesn't score, then Billing and Christie or Anthony could fill in, whereas Blackburn are a little bit more dependent on the one man. But so if we can nullify him, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I think 2-1. Hopefully, fingers crossed, get back onto winning ways.
Layla's going for a 3-1 there. Looking forward to seeing you later, Layla. Thanks, John. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you.
At the Cherries, John Spark there. And there we go. That is it. It's all about the game now. Look, if you like this video, press the thumbs up. We would truly appreciate it. It was a bit of an early start today. You know what? Like, don't give a thumbs up for us. Give a thumbs up for Daniel from Florida, who woke up at 4 a.m. to be on the show, whether you're on a mobile or watching on a TV or on a tablet or a desktop or a laptop, press that thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. It helps put the show in front of more eyes as well. Morgan, it's not happening today, but future games might be quite interesting with this COVID passport thing, eh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Obviously, anyone heading up to Borough, make sure you got your passport, or I think it's a lateral flow test as well that you can record as well, Sam. So, but it's going to be interesting to see how the club does it. I was thinking about this the other day, Sam. Could you imagine if there's like two people doing just standing there with a checker thing and scanning the QR code like players have had? People are just going to walk in. So I think what the club could do if they have the technology, and I'm sure it's pretty easy to sort out, is maybe have everyone date of birth. So if you're buying an adult ticket, you're going to be over 18, and that's the age that you'll need for the passport. And then there's like a little like QR code on your way in that you scan, and your ticket isn't valid before you present your ticket. And it should work with modern day technology like that. Otherwise, it's going to take ages. And some people said we'll have to get there at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness, yeah. You know what? Yeah, great suggestion. I don't know how it's going to be implemented, but we will see. Remember, if you want to support the channel, the details are at the bottom of your screen. AFCBpodcast.com/coffee, and put your name on the Legends wall. Morgan, you grimaced at someone putting their name on the Legends wall. What's that all about?
Oh, I didn't. I was just going to say hit the bell while you're there as well, because it lets you know when we're here, and then you don't have to check and all that jazz. So yeah, no, that's also good. And yeah, maybe subscribe as well.
Subscribe as well. Right, we got to shoot. Pleasure to have your company once again on this breakfast show. Other Cherries, here's to a 3-1 win. See you later. After the game, free for all fan camp. Come and join us. Come on.